Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is from Surat Mahalla Nama, composition of the ninth Nanak. मन की मन ही माहे रही, न हर पजे न तीरथ सेवे, चोटी काले गही रहाओ। दारा मीत पूत रथ संपत्ति धन, पूरन सब मही, अवर सगल मिथ्या ए जानो, भजन राम को सही। फिरत फिरत बहुते जग हार्यो, फिरत फिरत बहुते जुग हार्यो, मानस देह लही, नानक कहत मिलन की बरिया, सिमरत कहा नहीं. So this is a very powerful message. What it is saying is, literally, मन की मन ही माहे रही, ना हर पजे न तीर्थ सेवे, चोटी काले गई. The mind, man ki man hi mahe rahi, the mind remains unfulfilled, its longings trapped within itself. And it is so because na har paje na tirath seve, because it does not remember its eternal source, which is the self, the har, nor does it cleanse itself at the pilgrimage. And we will see what that means. And now what has happened is, choti kale gahi. This is something to remember. Death has now seized it by its top knot, choti, the tuft of hair at the top of the head. So let's see what it really means now that we have the literal translation. What it is saying is, it's speaking about the egoic mind. The egoic mind is self-enclosed. Man ki man hi mahe rahi. What that means is that it is captured within its own psychic structures. The ego creates illusory structures and is then bound by them. It is trapped in them. It falls upon itself. And what that does is it cuts it off from its eternal source, nahar paje. And remembrance of the source alone can free it from this self-enclosure. And a mind, such a mind, when faced with death, kal, signified as time, is grasped by the tuft of its hair. So you see, in the Indian traditions, the top knot, the choti, is a symbol of identity. It is also a symbol of spiritual lineage. It is a matter of self-importance, if you will. So being seized by the top knot is a powerful metaphor that suggests when the moment of reckoning arrives, the self-centered mind is utterly defenseless. Because imagine being dragged by the top of your hair. One is stripped of its pride. It is complete and humiliating loss. So it's an undignified end. And the top knot, as I said, represents all that we identify with, our sense of importance, our achievements, social status, ego, what have you. And when time runs out, none of these matter. Being gripped by the top knot then is utter helplessness. And we also have to pay attention to the word tirath. The Guru is saying that this mind does not cleanse itself at the tirath. Now, we know that the word pilgrim tirath is a metaphor rather than a physical place in Gurbani. It is not an outward journey, but the tirath in Gurbani is an inner site. It's the inner sacred space. Tirath naam hai, tirath naavan jaiye, tirath naam hai. What it also implies, tirath, the pilgrimage in Gurbani, is the service of an enlightened mind, the Guru. That is the tirath. So we have to make sure that we understand the distinction. Guru Tegh Bahadur is not advocating that we go to an external pilgrimage. He's speaking of pilgrimage as a metaphor for the Guru. So this is a stark warning. An inward-looking mind, trapped by its own desires, disconnected from its source, is ultimately helpless. So the call to action is escape this fate. Break out of this self-enclosure and connect with the boundless self, that creative self. And in the second verse of this sabad, the Guru does repeat that. Dara, meet, put, rath, sampati. He's speaking about worldly possessions and wealth. Dara, meet, put, family, children, partners, spouses. All of these are present in abundance in our lives. We know that. Yet, he is saying, avar sagal mithya e janno. Yet know that these are all transient. So the point is that no matter how much we accumulate in terms of relationships, in terms of status, in terms of wealth, understand that they are all inherently fleeting. They may be central to our everyday life, but they are subject to change and loss without any notice. They are not predictable, and life's certainties can unravel in an instant. So the Guru is not essentially teaching us to reject relationships or possessions, but simply to recognize their impermanence. What he is saying is that the only true enduring connection is with your deepest self, the presence within. So it is devotion, interiority, spiritual grounding that will ultimately remain with you, anywhere that you go, in any situation that you are. So place trust in your inner self, not in these outward signposts, if you will. Relationships can change, money comes and goes, status changes. Know that. So it's a realization more than anything else, and it'll change your behavior. Concluding, the Guru says, Phirat bahote jag hareo. Bahote jug hareo. Look, you have lost this game of life over and over again. Phirat bahote jug hareo. Within this body. You're playing this game over and over again in this body and losing at it. What that means is that you continue with your patterns of behavior, with these illusory psychic structures. You keep doing that over and over again. Phirat bahote jug hareo. Yes, commonly phirat bahote jug hareo means you have wandered through many ages. What it actually means is that in your body, you continuously are driven by the ego. You're robotic. You do this over and over again. And Nanak says, Nanak kahat milan ki bariya simrat kaha nahi. This is your opportunity. Stop these patterns of behavior. Connect with your source. So our human life, generally translated for this means countless journeys. Well, the journeys are countless in the sense of time and body. We are constantly thinking up new things. We are constantly in that state. So the message is clear. Look, you're in a unique situation as a human. You have consciousness, and this is the moment for deep connection. Don't be forgetful. So be mindful. Why are you delaying that experience which is open to you? I leave you with some thoughts to ponder. If possessions, status, relationships cannot shield us from our mortality, how should we engage with them? How should we treat them? Should we hold them lightly and gratefully? Or would you cling to them as if they were permanent anchors in our lives? How would you do it? Thought. This is a thought to ponder. Human birth again. The fact that your consciousness is evolved to this stage where it has an ego, where you become conscious, it's precious. Transform this awareness. Ask yourself, what is this forgetfulness that pulls you away from the deeper purpose of your life? Because there is a deeper purpose, and you need to investigate yourself to find it. No one is going to find it for you. So ask yourself, what steps can I take today to move away from this postponement toward a greater presence, deeper contemplation, and a deeper experience of life, which is much more fun, believe me. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.